지금 현재 미국에서도 오디션을 많이 보러 오고요. 요즘에 들어서는 약간 남미 쪽, 일본 쪽은 한 4, 5년 전부터 계속 꾸준히 많이들 모여 있고 있고요. 중국 같은 경우도 요즘에 실력이 되게 좋아졌어요.
それがまあなんとか合格につながって今の会社に合格したんですけど、もう本当に奇跡だと思う。朝何も食べない、昼サラダちょっと食べて、夜食べないみたいな生活をしてて、多分1日に300キロカロリーぐらいしか取ってなかった。
These young foreign trainees leave every day thinking that they must persist and survive to make it to their dream and shine on stage.
있거든? 합격.
합격이요?
축하한다, 일단.
네? 아...
얘 부르는 건 처음 들어.
Have you noticed how common it is nowadays to see foreign idols in K-pop? Or even groups made up entirely of members outside of Korea, but trained under the K-pop system. Talented groups like BLACKSWAN, Cat's Eye, XG, or Origin. But what you might not know is that one of the first experiments like this actually happened in Brazil, long before it became a trend. A pioneering idea for its time, the first steps toward diversity of nationalities in the world of K-pop. It all started with JS Entertainment. Now listen, JS Entertainment wasn't a big company like SM or YG. Founded by Kim Jong-sun, it was considered a small company, but a company that saw possibilities that at the time other companies didn't notice yet. By 2012, K-pop was already growing strongly outside of Korea. Groups like Girls' Generation and Super Junior already had large international fandoms. And, of course, we can't forget the massive success of Psy with Gangnam Style. Kim Jong-sun, who already had experience as a choreographer and producer, noticed the growing K-pop fandom worldwide, especially in Brazil. Brazil was, and still is, one of the biggest international K-pop fandoms, with sold-out shows and high online engagement. As a small company, JS saw this as an opportunity to reach the Latin audience. So, the company's declared goal became bringing K-pop to Brazil, but with Brazilian artists. They planned to combine the Korean aesthetic, training, and music production with the talent of young Brazilians, applying in another country the formula that had already been successful in South Korea. This movement became known as B-pop. B-pop was different from the Brazilian pop everyone was used to. By 2012, there were already artists trying to bring a sound closer to international pop. In the 2000s, for example, Kelly Key emerged with songs reminiscent of artists like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. A little later, there was Rouge, a group formed through a reality show. They had choreography, colorful costumes, catchy songs, and a legion of passionate fans. In a way, Rouge was the Brazilian experience most similar to what we see in K-pop groups, even if in a different context. But still, these artists were aimed at the national audience and were part of the Brazilian market. B-pop wanted to bring a totally different format, a training system, artists trained intensively before debuting, international investment, songs mixing Portuguese and English, and, above all, synchronized performances. And it was precisely to find these Brazilian talents that JS Entertainment held auditions in the country, giving rise to what would become CHAMPS. From this process, 5 members were chosen: Ricky, Diego, Kenji, Shi, and Yago. Ricky, the leader and main vocalist, Shi, the rapper, Kenji, the dancer, Yago, the main dancer, and Diego, the vocalist and dancer. JS Entertainment saw something in these 5 young men who were between 18 and 22 years old: perseverance, courage, and the talent needed to start this bold project. The boys moved to the large city of São Paulo, where they lived together in an apartment provided by the company. But the space wasn't just a place to live, it was the center of intense daily training. The members reported rehearsing and taking daily lessons in singing, dancing, body expression, and physical conditioning. The routine was exhausting, waking up early, training for hours, following complex choreography, and being constantly evaluated. In addition, they had to maintain a strict diet to lose weight. After months of preparation in São Paulo, the CHAMPS members traveled to South Korea for a 2-month period, where the training intensity increased even more. There, they had the opportunity to train with Joo-sun Lee, a renowned Korean choreographer responsible for international hits like Gangnam Style.
이름이 또 지금 클럽에서 챔스라는 그 챔피언스 리그라는 축구가 또 굉장히 유명해요. 거기에 또 이름 팀명이 챔스. 아 너무 좋은 것 같아요. 그래서 이번에 브라질 데뷔할 때 꼭 성공하셔갖고 전 세계 내에서 챔스가 또 춤을 추는 그런 멋진 모습을 기대하겠습니다. 감사드립니다.
Each day was dedicated to perfecting complex moves, synchronizing motions, and fine-tuning every detail of their performance, from facial expression to posture.
Yeah, come on, yeah, woo, yeah, yo, hey, yeah, come on, chick, make some noise, woo! O Kenji é bonito, Iago meu amigo, Diego é legal e o Rick é o tal, Isso é legal. Isso é legal. 아, 다 했어? 오케이. 수고하셨습니다.
예, 감사합니다. 네, 감사합니다. 예. 아, 너무 잘했어.
In addition to dance, they continue with singing, stretching, and physical conditioning, always receiving constant feedback from Korean instructors.
Push splash. Depois tem que fazer 10 vezes. Como é? Swing, né? 10 vezes swing. E depois 10 vezes ficar pulando em cima da caixa. Enquanto isso, tem outra pessoa correndo lá fora. Quando chegar, a gente tem que sair para correr e a pessoa vai fazer a mesma coisa que a gente. Em 20 minutos, quem fizer menos tem que fazer uma punição.
This experience not only elevated the group's technical level, but also exposed them to the culture and rigorous pace of the idol industry in Korea, showing that being part of K-pop requires much more than talent. It demands discipline, resilience, and total dedication. For the Brazilians, living this intense routine in a foreign country was a double challenge, dealing with homesickness while adapting to an extremely demanding professional standard. For their debut, the company created CHAMPS TV, a YouTube channel designed to generate interest and engagement, showing behind the scenes of training and the group's intense routine. The goal was to introduce the group to the public, build a fan base, and set the stage for their official debut. CHAMPS TV worked well to create anticipation, even if it didn't go viral, since JS was a small company with limited marketing. Still, it reached the K-pop interest audience in Brazil, helping the group gain fans curious about the project and even generated some attention in Korea.
이거 그냥 뭔가 잘 될 것 같아요. 네. 좋아요.
After months of intense preparation in Brazil and Korea, the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived, the official debut of CHAMPS with Dynamite on May 24, 2014.
Dynamite, I'm gonna be your dynamite, dynamite.
The debut wasn't just a test for the Brazilian market, but a pioneering experiment. However, despite the excitement, CHAMPS faced typical challenges of an innovative project, adapting the Brazilian audience to the K-pop aesthetic, comparisons with international groups, and the pressure to meet JS Entertainment's investment expectation. The reception was mixed. Some K-pop fans in Brazil supported the initiative, while others questioned the adaptation of the Korean style to the Brazilian context. Nevertheless, the impact was significant, sparking discussions about the possibility of Brazilian groups in the K-pop scene and expanding horizons for future similar initiatives. In June of the same year, the group made their first TV appearance on a popular Brazilian morning show. They also performed at the Music Bank in Brazil in Rio de Janeiro that same month, alongside artists like BAP and Shiny. They even opened the BTS 2014 fan meeting in August in Rio. Despite these achievements, the group struggled to build a solid fan base, accustomed to this concept, along with financial and logistical support limitations from JS Entertainment, and also problems between the members and in their personal lives. Unfortunately, the group disbanded in 2015, just 1 year after debut.
O que saiu na página oficial foi que o Champs acabou por problemas financeiros. Isso é verdade, mas não é toda a verdade. Porque como a gente foi o primeiro grupo deles, eles não sabiam muito bem como administrar um grupo aqui no Brasil. Agora, o que vocês não sabem é que o Champs, acho que em agosto ou próximo de outubro, um dos integrantes decidiu sair do grupo. A empresa abriu uma audição que era para substituir esse membro. Aí os meninos conversaram e a gente achou melhor que não seria legal substituir. Eu acho que se começou com os 5, que seja ou os 5 ou que fique só os 4. Na verdade, todo mundo já estava pensando assim, esse negócio não está indo para frente mais. A gente está parado, porque a gente ficou meses em casa, depois de fazer. Apareceu na televisão, concorreu aos meus prêmios Nick, fizemos show em vários estados, e teve um momento que a gente parou. Chegou um momento que eu não estava mais disposto a participar do projeto, porque na época eu tinha descoberto que meu pai estava com câncer, aí eu decidi ficar em casa e ajudar a minha família.
Despite their early end, Champs' legacy remains. They were the first Brazilian to fully integrate the K-pop model, paving the way for B-pop and inspiring young artists to take risks in this global format. In 2024, Champs did release new songs and MVs together, this time with 4 members pursuing music and dance independently. The group's legacy isn't measured just by numbers or hits, but by the inspiration it left for artists and fans, proof that seemingly impossible dreams can become reality with dedication, courage, and a passion for music. So, what do you think of the story? Do you think Champs could have achieved more success if they existed today? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss any updates from K-Review Brazil, where every story has a special place.
O que eu preciso é de ter